Being a part of development processing, in our most of the cases, we are using await async in our code. But actually, we are knowing that how await in async is getting run, how await is going to run in our backend code. It will going to block our thread or it is a non-blocking. I hope you have this question in your mind, so you guys are on the right place. Hello everyone, my name is Manharsinh Jadeja. I am working as a senior software engineer at Bistec Consultancy. In this video, I am going to explain that await is a blocking or the non-blocking, right? Just for the better experience purposes, you guys can move to 1.5 playback speed. Yeah, so just let's get started. Let's say I have already created one project, and that is the async await check, in which I have created one class. In this class I have a mainly four method. One is a main method that I am going to call from program CS file, and that is my return async response. This is the async method. That means it should run asynchronously, in which I have created three methods and that I am calling it. My first method is method 1, which is going to print the data from 1 to 10. I have a method 2 which is going to print the data and 11 to 20, and I have a third method that is going to print the data 21 to 30. But now the concern is how this part is going to run. Might be in your mind you have a thinking or you have a answer like that will going to print that first method 1 is going to execute it, and synchronously as we are working as an asynchronously, so method 2 and method 3, all three are going to work in the parallel process. So might be you are thinking that while it processing 1 to 10, might be there will be some data with the 11 to 20 in between, and might be some data between to 21 into the 30. But might be your thinking is wrong. Why? First let me show you the output, how it will going to look. Let's okay. Okay, I am in the wrong project. I have to set this project as a startup. Now let me run this project. Yeah, so what we are able to see here, that first it is executing method 1. Once method 1 is completed, then it is getting started method 2, and at the end it is printing the method 3. Now the question will be in our mind that if asynchronous is going to wait for the old method, then how our data will be respond. Or the main concern is that in synchronous we know that why we have moved to the synchronous to the asynchronous programming is that in synchronous we are blocking our thread, that until your one method is not completed you are not able to do anything. So now there will be a one question in your mind, that same thing we are doing here, that until method 1 is completed I will going to wait for the method 2, and until method 2 is completed I am going to wait for the method 3. So what is the difference between that? So now I am going to tell you that. So mainly what is the difference? First, await. You have a thinking or might be you have a heard that await will wait for this method to complete. Yes, you are right that await will wait to complete this method 1, but into the asynchronous manner we can say. How asynchronous manner? that it is not going to starting the method 2 or the method 3, but it will not going to freeze, we can say, our particular thread. So once, let me explain clearly that if I am going to first running the method 1, until the process is complete for the method 1, my thread will be available for the others to complete that particular task as well. So now what will be the happen? Let's assume I am running my method 1. My method 1 have a, I can say, it will take around 15 seconds or 20 seconds to complete that particular task. So what will be the happen, that await will make sure that your thread is not going to block. So till that 15 seconds, until the method 1 is getting executed, you have a thread, that same thread you are able to use for the another process. Yes, but you have to make sure that in one particular method you are not going to use that same thread. So that means until the method 1 is completed, you can assume that your UI is not going to freeze. Your thread is not going to freeze. Your thread is not blocked. So you are able to perform some operation in your UI, we can say. So I hope you are clear with this, that once method 1 completed, then it will go to the method 2, then it will go to the method 3. But throughout this process, await will make sure that your thread is going to not freeze, right? So other methods or the other requests are able to access with the use of that thread, we can say. Now let me explain you the same thing with the UI, so you guys can get the more clear idea about that. I have created one Blazor web application in which I have a one default project, and that is the counter. What I have did in the counter, that this is the default part of an counter, that I will click on the increment button and my counter will be incremented. But now in this I have added the one label for the pay, I can say, for the second, and this is the my method. Let's say I am making my this method as an asynchronous, I can say, right. Okay. Now in this, before incrementing the count, what I have did, that I have added one for loop, and that will run from 1 to 15 second. Let's change it to the 30. So what I have did, that till 30 I am going to put 1000 millisecond sleep, I can say. Let's, we have to use, first I will show you that how await will work, that it is not going to block your thread. Then I will show you that if you will not use that, then how it will freeze your UI. So await task dot delay, I can say. So 30 times it will wait, so we can assume that 30 second it will be going to wait, and afterwards my counter will be incremented. So in the big scale you can just assume that I have a one function, and this function is going to wait, or this function is going to process for the 30 second, we can say. Now for the showing purposes that my UI is not getting freezed, I have created one more button here, and that is the decremented current count. I have taken the 100 as a default. So what should be the my behavior, as I have said, that await is not going to block your thread, as it will just wait for this particular method to complete. Until once is complete, it is going to, we can say, proceed for the next. But throughout this completion process, it is not going to block any thread, or not going to freeze any UI, we can say. So how we will check in this day, that once I will click on the increment count, there will be a 30-second time delay that should be executed, that my increment count will take a 30 seconds to proceed to 100%. So while at that time I should be able to click on the decrement count and my this functionality should be. Okay, so as we have discussed that what will be going to happen, that once I will click onto the click me button, my this incremented function will going to take 30 seconds, or as of now we have 50, that means it is going to take the 50 seconds to complete this process. But as I have used the await, that means that await will wait to do the next process. That means it will wait the 50 seconds to process this current count plus plus, but between this process it will release the thread. So my another method can efficiently use this particular thread. So that means as we have created the decrement count, so this decrement count will able to use that particular thread and it is not going to freeze our UI. So let's see that. Yeah, so my counter is started, and if I click on the click me button, I am successfully able to decrement this count, I can say. Now let's check the reverse scenario. What will be the happen in the reverse scenario? That let's say I am not using the await. So now what will be the happen? That until the increment count is processed, that until I can say, let's make it the 30 second. So until the 30 second, the process is being proceed, this thread is going to busy, we can say. So the another our process is not going to use particular thread. So what will be the happen, that my UI will be freezed over there. So until this 30 second, whatever proceed I can say I have did, or whatever the things I have did with the decrement count, that will be freezed. So that will be in the queue, that once my incremented count process is completed, then it will executed this decremented count process. So let me show you that. As we have a delay, so it will show some inconsistency in the our UI as well. So once I will click on the click me button, my UI is freezed, I can say, for the 30 second, and now I will click in the click me or the decrement counter button, I'm not able to see any process. So now what will be the happen, until the 30 second the process is completed for the increment count, we have to wait for that particular thread. Once that thread is released, we are able to see the difference in the decrement count. How we are able to see? As I have clicked 4 or 5 times in the click me button, so once this 30 second is completed, I will be able to see the decremented count. So now you can see here that our process is completed. So until this 30 second, my thread was busy. So my thread was blocked, I can say. So until this blocking period, I was not able to utilize that into the another method, I can say, or another request. So I hope you guys are clear with this. Let me show you one more scenario as a bonus tip. In async await method, let me make this project first as a startup. Okay. Now might be in your mind you have a question that if I'll remove this await here, then what will be the happen? So the basic scenario that the method 2 is going to wait for the method 3, but our method 2 is not going to wait for the method 1, as we haven't used the await here. So what will be the happen, that until processing the 11 to 20, or we can say if method 1 is processing from method 1 to 10, at that same time our method 2 is already getting started. So at that time we are able to see the processing of 11 to 20 as well. As of now we don't have any delay, so let me put the some delay so you can visible it properly. Otherwise it is in a, for the compiler, or we can say the for the CLR, this is the microsecond work. So as of now if I'll run, you are not able to see any differences in our result, we can say. Why? Because this process is just taking the microsecond. So it in a microsecond it's completed the method 1 and then started the method 2. But if I let's put the delay over here, let's say my method 1 have a task delay of a 1 second, right? For the every process we can say it will wait for the 1 second, and let me put the task delay here in the, I can say, 0.5 second. So now we can see that once my method will start getting executed at that time, as let me give you the just one simple example here, that first we are going to print here the 1. So what will be the happen to print 1, it have to wait for the 1 second. But as I said, we haven't write the await, that means it will going to start executing the method 2, and in the while executing method 2, this method 2 have to print 11, it have to wait just only for the 0.5 second. So it will going to execute it, start executing for the method 2, and in between method 1 will also executing parallelly, we can say. So let me run this project and you guys will be able to see the difference here. Yeah, so you can see here that along with the method 1, method 2 is also getting executed. So I hope you guys are clear with this difference. Just stay tuned and just stay connected with this channel. We will come back with the more videos on this. Thank you.